Welcome back to the DNA Pest Control Podcast. This is Daniel.
And this is Aaron.
All right.
How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling pretty good.
Good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Getting over everything, so can't complain.
Good. Good.
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling great.
Yeah?
Feeling great.
Yeah, everything's been going good?
Yeah. It feels good. We're in the studio a little early this morning before our work day. So we're getting a jump on the day. It feels good.
Yeah, it does. It actually does. You know, and that was when I got back from my trip because it messes you up. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I woke up at like 3 a.m.
Oh, so you've been up.
Yeah, well, not this morning.
Oh.
I'm kind of getting back to normal now.
Yeah.
But that first day, it was like, boom, I'm just awake. 3 a.m. I'm like, well, I got nothing to do. Let's go to the gym at 4.
Yeah.
So we went to the gym at 4 a.m. I mean, it was just like, cool. I mean, I'm way ahead of the day. But then by, noon, 1 o'clock, you're just dead.
Yeah.
Because you've already been up way, But anyway, everything's good.
Good.
All right. Aaron, what is today?
Today's going to be an emotional day.
Oh no.
No, it's going to be a good day. We had some good stuff lined up with some of the things that have been coming up on the technician and office side. You can kind of break it down a little bit more.
Yeah, and this is a good one because we deal with it so often, but we ignore it. Mm-hmm. And I don't think people actually want to focus on some of these things because it's in some moments it can be a confrontation.
Yeah,
and most people don't like that. Mm-hmm. It's really hard for a lot of people, and so with that, we're jumping in, and the emotional side of it, or the emotions, really get the best of us in a lot of scenarios. And I'll be one to admit it does to me, and I have to go back and reflect and make sure that I'm keeping those emotions in check. And I've done really well. I actually have some really good experiences that have happened, and I've kept my mouth shut and I've kept calm.
Yeah.
And I didn't say anything. So I'm getting better.
Good. Good.
Where I normally would, but I just, I didn't. But first thing that we wanted to hit on with, kind of emotions and emotional stuff that goes on. And we're not talking about crying. We're not talking about a little bit about feelings, but we're not going to get into that stuff. Mm-hmm. So people are very clear. We're talking about when you get into a heated situation with an office, let's say an office personnel, they answer a phone call and a customer is screaming at them.
Yeah.
We're talking about those emotions. Are you reacting to that customer, or are you controlling the situation and guiding it to a point? Mm-hmm. Right? I'm sure you have an experience when you were in the office with a heated customer, and how did you handle that?
Step by step.
Okay, let's hear the step by step.
I am grateful that I've had a lot of sales jobs over the years, and I've had a lot of customer interaction. So I understand that things said over the phone most likely would not be said in person. Things heated in the moment. A husband calls in because the wife is screaming at him, so now he's screaming at me, saying, "Why isn't your guy here? You said you'd be here between 8 and 10. I canceled everything today. This whole day is ruined because of you. What's going on?" Mm-hmm. And I'm like, let me find out what happened. Let me see how we can fix it. And he's getting upset, he's angry. And this is like a generalized example that kind of covers a lot of them. But what I do is I understand that I do not benefit, or nobody benefits from stooping down to that level or feeling angry back at him or feeling like upset that he's yelling, because that's not going to get us anywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's not ignoring the emotions. It's understanding what's being conveyed and getting to that solution quicker. Yeah.
And that you're absolutely right. Like that is the best way to handle those customers. Mm-hmm. So for everybody who's in the office, in those situations, I've had really pissed off people as well. Mm-hmm. They're screaming at me. They're cussing at me. I'm a terrible person. I'm all these things. And by the end of it, they're fine. Mm-hmm. Right? They're okay. They've calmed down. Everything's good. And I've had other people, staff in the office, who hang up on people because they are cussing at them, and they're like, if you swear at me one more time, I'm going to hang up. And it's like, that's not going to help the situation. Understand that they're not mad at you.
Yeah.
They're mad at themselves. They're mad at life. You know?
Yeah.
I don't know what just happened. I don't know if their dog just got hit by a car and they're taking it out on you.
Yeah.
I have no idea. You know, so we can't take that and say, hey, it's against me, and take it as a personal attack.
Sure.
Where I think most people do. Because I've had the same thing. Someone calls up. This literally happened. The lady is screaming at me. You know, I want to talk to a manager.
Speaking.
I'm the manager. Well, you're a terrible manager. And I'm like, okay. Well, this is a franchise. No, it's not a franchise. Well, so there's no corporate. No, there's no corporate. Well, who's the owner? You're talking to the owner. Well, you're a terrible owner.
Yeah.
I mean, she just went off. She just kept going and going and going. And it finally got to the point where it was, you know, she wanted to cancel services, and that was fine. And I said, I totally understand. She was stressed. She even mentioned some things that she was nursing, and she's been up super late. And I mean, so she had no sleep. She's just pissed off at the world. And she's like, I need a confirmation that you cancel. I said, hey, look, I canceled it. I can send you an email, but there's nothing I can do. You know, I can't, there's nothing else. Like, I don't know how you want me to confirm that it's canceled other than me saying it's canceled.
Yeah.
You want an email, I can send you an email. But I was very, very calm. And that's where people don't understand is you match their level, or you don't match their level.
There you go.
You're creating the level that you want. You want them to be calm, you stay calm. You want them to get excited and heated, tell them you're going to hang up on them if they keep cussing.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Then they're going to keep cussing at you, and you will hang up on them.
Yep.
Right? So it's understanding where those people are and where they're coming from and what they're yelling at, and how are you going to handle that? Are you going to bring them down and off that ledge? Or are you going to just keep, feeling the fire? Because you can do that.
Yeah.
And it's really easy to do that. And that's one example of many. But as the office staff, understand and pay attention when somebody calls in, how are you handling that? Are you finding that solution? That's another thing you did mention. That's what I look for. How do we fix it?
Yeah.
Someone can call in pissed off. What, a tech showed up, this and that. And I'm, great. What can we do? You know, how can we make this better for you?
Yeah.
Throw it back on them and calmly.
Yeah.
Totally get it, Aaron. I understand you're upset. How can I make this better? What can I do?
And some people aren't going to like that at first, because I get that too. I look for a solution. They're like, I'm not done complaining, or you know what I mean? They just keep going. And I'm like, okay, you know, I understand. So again, how can we fix it?
Yeah. But, you know, and at the end of it, I've had people do that. And I've had another experience where at the end they were like, thank you so much. Oh, you're the best.
Yeah. Or they'll end with like hey, I'm sorry about all that. It's been a long day. I'm like, hey, you're good. Don't worry about it. You know.
Yeah. And they totally understand. I had that on the doors knocking. I remember it. It was in Elk Grove. We actually serviced the family.
Oh, wow.
Their family, their brothers. And one of the, I think like the sister-in-law sent me over to the house. So I went over there, knocked on the door. Guy opened the door. I mean, just cussed me out, furious. And I'm like, damn, like, what did I do?
Yeah.
I just got sent over by your sister-in-law. Like, good God, dude, like, my bad. You know, and I apologized to him. I'm like, hey, sorry, because I woke up his baby or something. I'm like, how would I know? Like, you put a sign out here, baby's asleep. And I walked away. Well, guess what? I ended up getting a phone call at like 9 o'clock at night, and this dude signed up. And he apologized and everything. But my emotions, you know, I didn't snap back at him. I just apologized. Hey, sorry. Have a good day. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
You know, and that can change so much. But it's understanding where you sit, and do you want to be on their level? Do you want them to be on your level?
Right.
You can control that. You can control how you react in those situations. Okay. Fun one. Office with technicians.
Ooh, emotions don't come up in those situations.
Oh, we got some good ones.
Yeah,
what have you seen? Have you had any when you were in the office?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you did? Okay.
A couple. Yeah.
Okay.
When I was in the office, somebody called in. Let's say a technician was only able to do the front yard of the service because the gate was locked. Customer called in and said, oh, I'm home now. can you guys swing back today? I'm like, of course, text in your area. So I put the appointment back on their day and I messaged them and I'm like, hey man, customer's home now. Can you swing by at end of your last stop before you head home and hit it? Oh my God, I was just there. I was just doing this. This lady sucks. And all this comes up and I'm like, what the hell's going on?
It's your job.
It's literally your job.
Yeah.
It's literally your job. Now, from the vice versa, you know, let's say your office staff who does the routing, does the scheduling, and a technician decides to go their own route. They might jump appointments. They might do a certain one first. It doesn't make sense. And you're sitting there frustrated. But I mean, I didn't really have a problem with that because I would just call the tech and ask, hey, what are you doing? Mm-hmm. Stop doing it. And then just move on.
Yeah.
You know? So what about you? What are you thinking of?
Well, I mean, I've seen it because you get, and we'll hit on the technicians and their emotions in a minute, but you know, the office, there's a few things that I want the office to know. Mm-hmm. And that if you're not a tech and no one's ever explained it to you, you don't get it. Mm-hmm. You don't understand. And I had this situation here. We went out to Pest World. I get back. There's a PlayStation connected up to the TV, right? In the conference room.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, what the hell's going on in here, guys? Like, we leave for a week, and now you're playing video games midday or all day? Like, I don't know. Mm-hmm. I have no idea. And so, you know, it was in the office. I kind of brought it up. What's going on? Why is this, you know? Anyway, it was, you're going to have to take this down. But we had to have a technician come in. Well, the technician came in and we're dealing with stuff and, you know, they wanted to take a break to go play a video game while I'm working and no one's covering the phones and they want me to cover the phones, but also help the tech while they can go play video games. And so what I mean, and the point what I'm bringing into it, and as crazy as this sounds to most people probably listening, and yes, it really did happen and people are insane on some levels. But the point I'm trying to make is the office doesn't understand that the technicians are out doing labor work. Mm-hmm. You're sitting in an office. You have a freaking PlayStation connected up to a 75-inch screen TV ready to go in AC or heat. Mm-hmm. You got water in a bathroom whenever you need and snacks. Mm-hmm. 100% disrespect. Mm-hmm. The office needs to understand. Now, there is a line there. There is a fine line. Office, you need to understand when it comes into a technician calling or you call the technician and you're dealing with a heated situation with a technician, is it's understand what they're going through. Mm-hmm. Understand that they're hitting appointments. They're dealing with customers. They're running away from a dog. Mm-hmm. You know, there's a lot going on that we don't understand.
Yeah. I'm
not saying baby them. That is not what I'm saying. Do not bend over backwards for these guys. They're also doing labor work so they can handle it.
Yeah.
You know, so if you baby them, you create a monster and a very bad one.
Yep.
Because we've done it.
Seen it.
And we've learned. But you also have the fine line of understand what they're going through as well. Mm-hmm. They woke up at 6 a.m. You don't know that. You just showed up in a nice office at 8, right? Mm-hmm. And then you decide to put on all these appointments after 4 o'clock when they should be off. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it gets frustrating for the guy. You know, it's a little, you know, you're adding and adding and adding and adding and not paying attention to when they started or when they should end. That really starts to wear down on most guys. Mm-hmm. Not all are created equal, but most are that way.
Yeah.
I don't care if you throw another one on me. I look at it as more appointments, more hours, more money. Mm-hmm. I don't care. That doesn't upset me. You're giving me more money?
Yeah. Cool.
Some people don't look at it that way. Some people look at it as you are eating away at my free time and now I hate you because you are taking away my freedom.
Yeah.
You know, they don't see it as I'm giving you all this extra money. They see it as you are controlling me. You're taking away my opportunity to be home, play video games, whatever it may be. And that is what kills a lot of these people. So when it comes to the emotions, or you have a high emotional thing where a technician calls in and is pissed off, understand on their level what's going on, and what's happening. Because we have had that. We've had it where a technician calls in and is cussing out, an office, personnel.
Yep.
And now, granted, the person who was in the office was really poking the bear. He knew what he was doing. He knew what was going on. And you start to piss people off consistently. Yeah. Now, technicians are not warranted to call and cuss out anybody ever. But there is that line, and it is understanding, And going even back to that, we had an experience with you, not you getting mad at anybody, but because you've controlled your emotions. And I'm sure you're not frustrated about it, but I was frustrated about it. And it was directly correlated to the office. And the office was overbooking you and overbooking you and overbooking you and overbooking you. And this is where, once again, the office needs to understand, right? And this person said, I feel bad. Well, if you feel bad, why did you do it? And not only why did you do it, why do you keep doing it?
Yeah.
You understand if I say, hey, sorry for overbooking you, man. I know it sucks, but I apologize. And then I do it tomorrow. And I'm like, yeah, sorry, man. I didn't mean to. And then I do it the day after and the day after and the day. Your apologies mean nothing.
Yeah.
You're doing it on purpose. You're not doing it because you feel bad. You're doing it because of some, monetary gain, whatever it may be.
Sure.
But in there it's understanding your emotions with the office and understanding how those technicians and what they're going through. Yeah. And when they do call, staying calm as well and handling it in that way, but understanding the tech that you're dealing with.
Yeah.
That's something that is difficult to teach in this industry. And actually, that's a great one. I'd love to know how Xfinity does it, and even some of these bigger companies do it, is how do you handle so many different guys on so many different levels with so many different, emotional states that they're going through.
Yeah.
Or it's just so big and just no one cares.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of both.
Yeah, they call into customer service and they just hang up on them, or they're in India anyway. So it's like, I don't even know who you are, dude.
They're that big, they're replaceable like that. I get it.
Yeah, but it is understanding that and putting yourself on that level.
Yeah.
But for technicians get to see people in a whole different light. Office, it's all over the phone.
Yeah.
Very rarely you're going to have a technician come in and they're going to be pissed off to the office staff in person. I mean, even if you show up every day, you just woke up. I mean, how pissed off are you really going to be? Right. End of the day, you come drop it off. Maybe you can get in a little confrontation. Most people are just going to separate, go their own ways. They're not even going to talk. Well, text is a little different. Text, you get to show up to the house. You have to see this person face to face. Let's hear some of the situations that we've been in.
Oh, let's just go this week.
Okay. I like that. Let's do it.
I do a lot of the quality control here for those of you listening. So customers that have paid for rodent exclusion, specialty services, whether it's cockroach treatments, bed bug treatments, and from time to time, if things aren't done properly, whether it's prep, whether it's the actual treatment, we're not going to get results in the time that we expect them to. So customer calls in, they're pissed off, like, hey, you guys did a rodent control program and I'm still hearing stuff. I'm still seeing stuff. I'm usually one that goes out there and talks to them. Getting out there is a whole different story in person. I mean, maybe it's just my own experiences or how the lens that I look at these situations with, but I'm just there to find a solution, right? You get there and the initial conversation is like, it's about time you showed up. I'm dealing with this stuff and all this is going on wrong in my life. And my first thing is, great. I'm glad I'm here right now. Let's talk about this and let's figure it out.
Yeah.
A little bit more on a smaller scale, you have a customer who's like the first stop on the day and there's a note that they always want to call ahead or they always want you to like knock hard on the door so they can hear you. And, you follow the directions and you knock hard right at 8 a.m. or you call them at 7:30 a.m. And they're like, why the hell are you calling me this early? This and that. And I'm like, oh, I'm just following the instructions because, based on the past experiences, you sent a note to the office saying you always want to call ahead. So I'm just making sure that you're aware I'm on my way. I don't care because, I'm this and I'm that. And I stayed up late last night. I get there and garage is already open. The door's unlocked and they're waving out of the window, and I don't know.
It goes back though. This is where, you need to understand some people because I used to not be a morning person.
Oh, okay.
And so it wasn't that I was grumpy or angry. I just didn't want to talk to anybody.
Yeah.
It was like, I'm tired. Let me get out of what I'm feeling. Let me get this out of my system. And then I'm good. I'm normal.
Yeah.
But in the beginning, it's like, dude, shut up. We're in the car. I don't need you to turn the music up loud. I don't need you singing. It's like, just shut up. Let me just be in quiet, peace and quiet right now.
Yeah.
So I get it, but as a technician, so we run into so many situations like that where we go into a backyard, a customer comes around, they start yelling at us or whatever it may be, or we're spraying the wrong side of a house. We have this happen with the technician, and everything that was going on, and they kind of just backed up and tried to get into the truck and go away. They were apologizing, but backing away from it. And the thing is a lot of people, when you're in person dealing with someone directly, this is where, and we'll get into sales, the sales to understand a lot because body language is a huge thing and a huge part of sales, especially when you're face-to-face, not over the phone sales, but understanding the confidence, having the confidence and, confronting this person, not confronting them as you're going to fight them, confronting them as, I understand you're upset. What are we going to do about it? What's going to happen here? I spray the wrong house or the wrong yard. They're upset. Yeah, I'm going to stand there and I'm going to apologize. I'm going to be on their level. Hey, what can I do to help you? I did not know. I didn't see whatever happened. How do we fix it now?
Yeah.
What do we do right now? And most people start to back down from that because they see that confidence. They see that you're standing there. You're not backing away. You're not trying to flee. You're not running. You're saying, hey, I understand what I did was wrong. What can we do? Let's be reasonable adults.
Yeah.
Let's figure it out together.
Yeah.
And most people will calm down. They will lower. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, well, I guess, yeah, let's figure it out.
Sounds like a good idea. It's better than standing here being pissed off.
Yeah, and I've had it in some situations, and this is where technicians, it goes both ways. We talked about a lot of heated situations, but we've never talked about, having the emotions and taking it and saying, hey, look, I'm putting my foot down. You're a technician, you go to an apartment complex, and they didn't prepare for a cockroach treatment. What are you doing? Most guys aren't going to confront that person. They're just like, okay, well, I'll let the office know. And then they walk away.
Yeah.
And it's like, when are you going to stand up and take control in those situations? That has everything to do with your emotions. You don't need to be mad. You don't need to be pissed off, like going back to this person's house to respray. Why are you mad? It's part of your job. That's what you signed up for.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, go and clean up aisle 5. I just cleaned up aisle 5. Yeah, well, no shit, dude. You have freaking 100 people in this store. Of course, you're going to have to go clean it again at some point in this life. Okay? You don't do it once. You're going to have to do it every single day as long as you're here. But it's understanding that with people and going in and talking to, homeowners, tenants, and I do it, and I'm stern with them.
Yeah.
As I go in there, especially if they have little kids, I don't deal with that. You have cockroaches, you have little kids, you don't prep. We're going to have a serious talk, and you're not going to like it, and it's going to be very uncomfortable for them. But I've done it. I'm not yelling at them. It's just getting serious with them, and it's saying, hey, you're not paying for these treatments. The apartment complex is paying for these treatments. If you do not comply, one, I'm going to have to call CPS because you're kids. You're putting them at risk. And I will call, and I'm obligated to call because I'm seeing the situation.
Yeah.
I walk away from this and I saw this, I can get in trouble now.
Yeah.
So that's not going to happen. But also I will let them know you are the cause of all these problems. Mm-hmm. I'm okay telling them that you're an issue. You can either work with me and we can fix this as a team. And I get down onto their level about this. Mm-hmm. This is a team effort. They're willing to pay me to help you, but I need your help now. Mm-hmm. How are we going to handle this situation and get it fixed?
Yeah.
I can tell you everything you need to do. You just need to do it. That's it. I'll do everything else. Can you at least help me there? Mm-hmm. And most people, as you start to get on that level, you get the cooperation that you need.
Sure.
But people, you have to put your foot down. You have to have the confidence. And it's controlling that. I understand you're frustrated. You're pissed off. You went out there. You spent that time. You went on the weekend. You went early. You went late. And they're not ready. Mm-hmm. I've done it. I've gone to restaurants at freaking midnight, 11 p.m., 2.5 hours away, and they weren't prepped. And they're like, we didn't know. And at that point, it's like, okay, well, I'm going to still charge them because I wasted my time.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to get mad at them. It's what are we going to do to fix this problem and how are we going to find that solution?
Correct.
But it's controlling myself in that moment, even though I just wasted 5 hours of my night without sleep to go do a treatment that I couldn't do. Mm-hmm. Right. So those situations are hard, but it's helping them understand, talking to those people, talking to the customers, talking to the tenants, and controlling how you're acting or reacting to people.
Sure.
Are you getting heated in the moment and kind of screaming, or are you calm about it and saying, hey, look, this is what you have to do. Mm-hmm. We'll print out a prep sheet. We'll do everything that we can do on our side, but you got to help me.
Yeah.
We got to do this together. And most people will understand that.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything you want to add with techs and customers? I know we talked about heated, more on a calm side.
No, I do want to hit on, because when we were talking about the office, you made a good point about the office needs to understand who the technicians are and kind of what they're doing and how it is a labor, and they're actually going through it, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's full circle. I think being on both sides, it helped me understand how important it is for technicians to know that the office is the filter. They're the ones that are getting the calls when you do stupid stuff out in the field. They're the ones getting the calls when you miss time frames or when you ignore directions and kind of just kick things under the rug. They're the ones that are going through that.
Yep.
They're the ones scheduling you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's all full circle. That's one thing I wanted to add.
No, and you know what? Bringing that up, we did have an experience yesterday of a guy who went to a restaurant, did not call or text, did not follow the notes, said that they weren't there, left, no-showed the appointment, and we in the office called them, and the owner was pissed off because they said, well, when we're in the back prepping the food, of course we're not going to hear you at the front door. Why didn't you go around back? The back door's always unlocked. It's always open. Mm-hmm. There's always someone back there. And we've had multiple conversations about this. And that's where you hit on it, right? The technician, you understand that someone who calls over the phone, it's easy to yell at somebody. Mm-hmm. It's easy to be pissed off. It's easy to be heated. I can't punch you in the face.
Yeah.
So you can say whatever you want.
Right.
It's a little different when you're in person.
Mm-hmm.
They see you in person. They're like, ooh, I'm mad, but I'm not that mad.
Yeah.
Because this guy could probably beat me up.
Yeah, I was mad. Yeah.
I was mad, but now I'm not.
Yeah.
You're here. You're going to fix my problem. So I'm not going to be mad anymore.
Yeah.
But to the office, I'm pissed off. And it is understanding on the technician level is the same that you do out on the doors or out on, in the field. And I saw this with techs because they would have a customer call. Actually, we had this yesterday as well. Customer called the tech, and the tech was like, oh, yeah, hey, move that appointment from tomorrow onto me today, and I can go get it done. And he worked late. This guy never works late.
Oh, wow.
And he worked late because the customer called him and asked him directly. And then it was just like, ooh, they buckle. But now it's funny because techs, you know this. It's happened to you. You've had those calls, and you've buckled, and you went and did something because you wanted to be the hero in that moment, and they praised you, and you felt good, and you're like, ooh, this feels good. And so I'm going to go do it, and I'm going to go waste my time, and I'm not going to be mad even though I was supposed to be over here at 3:00, and you don't care. But when the office does it, the technician gets pissed.
Yeah.
And it's understanding, hey, put yourself in that position. If they called you and they begged for an appointment today, would you go do it? Technicians in the moment would all say, no, I wouldn't. That's not okay. But yet they do it when they receive the actual phone call on their cell phone. Mm-hmm. And they run and go help that person.
It's a really good point.
So it is understanding on both sides. And we saw it, and we've seen it very, very recently, and we typically see it every day.
Yeah.
All this stuff that does come up. But techs do deal with sometimes the office. Mm-hmm. I've done it. Now, I wasn't on the receiving end. I was on the giving end.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I called the technician, and I actually did this every day, multiple times a day until it got fixed.
What are you talking about?
This guy talked a lot, and he talked to customers for very long periods of time. Mm-hmm. And he was trying to be nice, and he was trying to have really good customer service. The only problem was he was pissing off 7 other customers because he was showing up late. So he was doing a good job at one, but doing a terrible job at 7 others.
Yeah.
And so every time he was at an appointment over about 15 minutes, 20 minutes, he would get a phone call from me, and I'd call him about 20 times until he answered. And it was me screaming at him, telling him to hurry. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, hurry, you got to go. You got to go. Come on, man. You got to keep going. You got to keep going. Let's go. Let's hurry this up. Stop talking to people. You got to go. Now, I don't know how he handled it on his side, but I'm sure it was rough.
Yeah.
Because, you're getting a call from me all day long, multiple times a day.
Yeah.
Up until it stopped, and then I didn't call him anymore. Mm-hmm. So I hope that he kind of connected that as, oh, he stopped when I don't talk to people, but he will start again if I'm talking to people.
Yeah.
So I wasn't on the receiving end, but on my side, that's one thing that I could say that if I went back to it, is controlling what I was saying and how I was saying it.
Yeah.
To help him understand more. Sometimes people don't get it, mm-hmm. and they're seeing like, why are you mad at me? I was just doing a good job. Mm-hmm. And it's not that you weren't doing a good job. It's the time spent is what I'm mad at. And that's where people need to understand, and techs sometimes need to get that, is you're receiving a phone call from the office. You're not seeing what the office just received. So they're heated at you because you only did a front yard and you didn't knock the door, you didn't ring the doorbell, and they're not necessarily mad directly at you. They're mad because a customer called them and just cussed them out.
Right.
And now they're taking that anger out on you because they couldn't take it out on, on the customer.
Yeah.
And it wasn't the office's fault either. It was actually directly back to the tech. And sometimes the tech does everything. I've done it. I've done it where I knocked, I rang the doorbell, called the customer, 0 answer, had to get a bucket off my truck to unlock the gate to get in the backyard. After all of that, and I did a full service, the wife calls the husband and has the husband call the office saying we never serviced the backyard, and was pissed off. Mm-hmm. And they had camera footage.
Oh, yeah, I love that.
Yeah. Now, we asked for the camera footage, and they never sent it. And the husband calmed down actually after we asked for the camera footage. But I did everything on my part, but the office received the backlash. Mm-hmm. So we have to understand as technicians, the office is going to call us, sometimes, and they're angry. But why are they angry? What did we do? What happened? What's the full story?
Yeah.
And don't lie, because I've had that happen too.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I don't remember if I stepped through a ceiling. Oh, you don't remember shitting yourself as you almost fell down like 6-7 feet
through the house?
Yeah, through the house. You don't remember that? That didn't imprint in your brain.
Yeah.
It's like, so don't lie, because that doesn't help the situation. It will make it worse, because now we're going to call the customer back and we're trying to resolve it, saying, yeah, this guy didn't step through your ceiling.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you did. He was the only guy up there. So now we look really stupid, and then the whole situation is even worse. And if they send you back out to that customer's house, well, now you got to cover the lie you just created.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of technicians, we easily can make mistakes. We have so much going on. We can make so many mistakes. Just own up to it.
Yeah.
Lying is not going to make the situation better or go away.
Yeah.
It won't. You have to tell the truth in the moment. That's the only way it's going to get resolved the quickest.
That's a good point.
But what's been your experience with office either calling you heated? Have you had that out in the field or seen it with guys?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's kind of trickles, like you said. Customer calls in super pissed off to the office and they're scrambling for a solution. You know, I'm getting the phone call after they've told the customer, hold on, let me call you back after I find a solution. They're like, Aaron, what do I do? And I'm like, dude, I'm in an attic right now. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm like, who's close? When am I going to be there next? You know, like, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
It's, I don't know, man. I just think a little bit different than most people because I don't, you know, people use the word like the phrase emotional intelligence a lot. And I've been, you know, Tony Robbins has a good thing about emotional fitness where it's like when you're fit, you're prepared. And I'm like, I just feel like I'm always prepared for, I don't want to say nonsense, but just the extremes, the highs and the lows.
Yeah.
You know, so my experience from the office calling me is more of like, this is going on. I need a solution. I'm like, well, what are my options?
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, out of those three, this would probably be the best solution with the information that I have.
Yeah.
See what happens.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. And that's right. You know, I mean, it is, you know, the emotional fitness side of it is how prepared are you for those calls? How prepared are you in those situations? And that's where you start to build, and that's something if no one's read the book or heard of the guy, Ray Dalio, you know, I like his baseball card idea, right? We've talked about it a lot, but you start to get a whole picture of who that person is, you know? So as the office calls the technician, the office gets frustrated. You start to see who that person is. And that person is always frustrated. You know, they're just a frustrated person. It doesn't matter what happens. They're just always frustrated. I knew another guy. He was just a complainer. And he complained about everything.
Yeah, here's $5. Oh, why don't you have 10?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. He was always a complainer. I actually had a sales guy who was a really, really bad complainer. I mean, over the top. And it was like, your apartment's paid for. Yeah, but, you know, they could be paying me money. And it's like, you don't even pay for living and you want them to pay you to live in that apartment that they pay for? I'm like, you'd probably be mad about that too, because then it's not enough. And then even if they gave you 10 grand, that still wouldn't be enough. And then you need more. And why aren't they giving me a car? But they're complainers. So you start to learn who those people are and you have to start paying attention to it. But that's going to be later on that we'll talk about some of that stuff. Yeah. But you do see that in so many levels as you start to build that picture with certain people is who are they and what are they about? You know, who can take that on? Now, on the flip side, we actually had a really good experience with the tech and the office called frantic and all, like, we need you to go out there. And this tech actually handled it really well. He said, where is this job? And they're like, well, it's like 30 minutes away. And he said, no, I'm not going to do that. Not today. It's already later in the day. Not going to happen. And it didn't happen, right? He turned him down and said, no, That was a good example of where their emotion lied, you know, where the one office came in ecstatic, freaking out. I need help. I need you to do this. And the technician was calm and saying, no, no, you need to call them back. You need to tell them no. You need to tell them to go. And this was just a regular route tech. No one special, no one knowing anything. But that example I want to throw out there is for the technicians, if you're getting done in 4 or 5 hours, you take on all the extra jobs till you hit 8. If it doesn't make sense, now, obviously management and ownership over there is going to be different than here. You have every right to say no. Every right. I'll even ask guys. I've moved appointments on guys and I've asked them, can you do this? Are you going to be able to get there between this time frame?
Yeah.
And I'll allow them to tell me yes or no.
Yeah.
Now, what they don't know is I'm taking a note. They say, no, I can't. And then they get done prior to the time that they could have. Guess what? I'm not going to ask you next time. I'm going to tell you to refresh.
Yep.
and it's just going to be on your day.
Exactly.
So I'm giving you some opportunity to see if you can actually tell the truth and you can start building that rapport. And that's where that, emotional fitness comes in, right? Are you being prepared? Are you taking mental note? Are you remembering these things? Are you seeing what's happening?
Yeah.
And you're starting to build that story. So now you're not taking it as an attack or a thing that went bad, or you're not allowing your emotions to go on this roller coaster ride. You're taking it as face value. This is what it is, and this is what we're going to do.
Yeah.
I've asked you. You lied to me. You said that you weren't able to do it. I trusted you. Now, next time, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
Nothing against you, because then time will pass, and I'll ask you again. I'll give you that opportunity. And if it's another no, and I see that you lied about it, then guess what? It's going to get wiped away.
Yeah.
And I'll keep giving you those opportunities every once in a while. I just did it with a guy, yesterday. Gave him the opportunity again. He did it, or 2 days ago. And he got done early. So now I know. I'm not going to ask. I'm going to move it. And now you get to go back to what it was before.
Exactly.
So you get to choose how this is going on. But I give you that opportunity. A big one, and this is one that Aaron loves, moving from office to techs and to the masters, or actually I should say the ones that should be masters when it comes to emotions and controlling emotions are who?
Sales.
There we go. Go.
It's sales, man.
This is you.
It's me because I really enjoy that side of it.
Yeah.
I enjoy people just in general.
Yeah.
So I think that's why naturally I've just gravitated towards sales and things like that. But
yeah,
with so many reps, and I can't stress the importance of getting repetition in for practice, right? But you start to pick up patterns, and you start to pick up certain key phrases, key words, key situations that usually, not all the time, but you can kind of already know where the conversation is going before it goes there.
Yeah.
So you can control it in a way to steer it back to the result you want.
Yeah.
And it's not always just walking in cold to a business and selling them. It could be explaining to apartment management why we have to do so many inspections, or why we have to do so many follow-up treatments, or what's going on. They're looking at you like, give me the answers and give me one that I want.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to set that tone early and say, hey, you're not going to like this, but we're going to have to come back and redo everything. And here's why,
Yeah.
And I think like the whole emotional fitness thing, like I am usually prepared for people to fly off the handle when I get there. So when they're a little upset or they're calming down, to me, they're in a great mood. And if they're freaking out and cussing at me, and I'm like, okay, this is what I expected.
Yeah.
Yeah. On the sales side of it, I think there's just important things to know. You hit it on the head when you were talking about, dealing with the actual customers, is you don't know what's going on. You have no idea. You could be walking into a situation where the pest control company they had for 10, 15 years and they were best bud, and they find out that they've been screwing them this whole time and overcharging them, and just have to sour, nasty taste in their mouth. And, they get upset at you for offering a service, and, to the untrained person, it's like, well, what the hell did I do? I'm just trying to offer them a service. And for me, it's like, oh, whatever. Here's my info. Like, I'll touch back with you. It's like, well, I'm going to say no. It's like, okay, that's fine. I eat no's all day. Like, that's okay with me.
Yeah. I'm only here to help.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that is exactly what I wanted to hit on is you're in the office, you're out in the field, whoever you may be, management, I don't care. If you don't have sales skills, go learn them. Go with somebody, go with a sales guy, go see what they're doing, go see how they handle people. Now, there is some times you will see sales are very terrible when they understand you're not a customer giving them money.
Yes.
And so they don't control their emotions when they're dealing with somebody in the company, with with a technician who's doing the job, with the office staff who messes up. Then they get pissed off, right? But when they talk to the customer, it's like, whoa, you're a whole different person. Because they understand this is who I have to be when I'm dealing with this person. Now that I'm talking to you who's screwing everything up, I can yell at you. I don't care.
Right.
What are you going to do? You're not paying me anything, right? So that's where you can get that with some sales. but understanding how those salespeople are dealing with customers and then how to deal with everybody around you, coworkers, is huge. Because you start to understand, okay, when I start to control my emotions, I start to help them. You're selling everything. You're selling an idea. You're selling a dream. You're selling whatever it is. I'm sick. I'm selling you on that I'm sick, right? Yeah, I want a day off. I got to sell you on why I need a day off. I show up late. I have to sell that I showed up late for a really good reason, right? I got to make my life the most miserable life in the world so that you feel bad for me and it's okay that I showed up late.
Yeah.
So it's really that's what sales is. That's what everybody's trying to do, is you're selling them on that, but it's understanding your emotions and what you're doing and how you're controlling that in that moment. You could walk into a restaurant. They don't want to talk to you. They're super mad, whatever. They're in a rush. What are you doing as the salesperson to expedite that?
Yeah.
Are you seeing that as, oh, they're rushing, they're talking really fast? That means they're in a hurry. So that means I got to start talking fast. I'm going to start meeting them on their level so they understand, hey, you're in a hurry. I'm in a hurry with you. We're on the same team here.
Yeah.
I'm trying to help you. You're trying to help me.
Yeah.
So I'll hurry up. I'll come back when it's a good time. Let's go. Go, 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 go. Go do your thing. Do what you need to do. I'll be back when lunch rush is over.
Yeah.
Salesmen understand that. The good ones do. The bad ones don't, but they don't sell.
Yeah.
The good ones understand that. They see those roller coasters, roller coaster emotions from different people that they're dealing with.
Yeah.
They deal with people who are really low, slow, laid back. And what do those salesmen do? They slow down. Hey, cool, man. Let's sit down. Let's talk about it. Let's have a good time.
Yeah.
Let's get some water. We can talk for an hour. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And then they get the sell. And then you got the guy who's going really fast, or you get someone who's really angry. And then the salesman won't be angry, but they'll start to match their level of excitement.
Yeah, that's so true, dude. Because my personality is pretty much, it's the same. I'm kind of just like laid back and just more just conversational.
Yeah.
Right. But when I do walk into a situation, when someone's like, give me the price, give it now. What do you do? What's going on? I'm like, great question. It's this, it's that. Here's what we offer. What do you think? Good. Let's do it. You know, it's not like, how long have you guys been in business? Or how's things been? It's like, you should be able to know, if you're a salesperson, you have to develop those skills to be able to read the room and read the situation.
Yeah.
Because you're just going to leave a really salty taste in their mouth if you don't.
Yeah. Well, in today, where sales has come, it's so different. People know that you're selling them something. It's not anything new. It's not like, anybody, everything. I know you're calling me because you want to sell me something. I know you knocked on my door because you want to give me something. You want to give me information. You want to give me a product. You want something, right?
Not just passing by.
Yes. But that is everything in life. And people are starting to understand that now. And so when you're dealing with heated situations, laid back situations, nonchalant, I don't care situations, we go back, and we're going to go all the way back to office right now. Someone who calls in and they're like, I don't really know what I need. Can you help me? Are you taking control, and are you telling them what they need? Or you're like, well, I don't know either.
Yeah.
Maybe call back when you know what you need. What are you doing there? Are you matching that? Are you taking control? Is the confidence there? There's so much involved, but a lot of it will come with self-reflection and then meeting those people who handle those situations really well, seeing what they're doing and how they're doing it.
Yeah.
And those people are the ones that you want to learn from. Those are the ones that you're like, okay, look, that happened in that situation. Why didn't he get mad? The office just added 5 more appointments because a guy called out sick. Why didn't he get mad? What's going on in this guy's brain, and how is he reacting?
Yeah.
And how is he looking at every situation? Copy that guy. Listen, learn what's going on. That's what sales they do really well at. I know I'm going to go into a ton of different places and I'm going to get rejected. I only need one. I don't need 100. I need one.
Yeah.
And then I'm happy. I just need one every day or one every hour, right? The other 100 that tell me no in that hour, I don't care. I just needed the one. And it's understanding that and learning that as you start to go. the office that calls you, whatever that comes up, the hiccup, whatever, customer on the door, out in the field, the backyard, the dog, what are you doing and how are you handling all of those situations, and what's your outlook on that?
That's good.
And that controls you, or you can take control and you can start to dictate what's going to happen and how I'm going to react, and if you do have a problem, great. There's a right way and a wrong way. We talked about it when you were asking for more money, pay increases, things like that. We've had episodes on it. How to deal with customers. We have that as well. Go back and listen to those episodes. These are all tying into what your emotional state is going to look like in every situation.
Yeah.
And how are you handling it? Management. That's a big one.
Oh, yeah.
Management, ownership, whatever, Now seeing it and transitioning into management on your side with the guys and the technicians that you're dealing with, where has this come in? Where have you had to deal with it, whether it's a heated situation, maybe not even a heated situation, maybe just an emotional situation. They want to call it quits, whatever it is. They're upset about something. What have you done to handle those?
I have to find a balance of taking things at face value, but also focus on communicating to get to the real source of the issue. Tex might say to me, I don't know if I can make this appointment because I have to be somewhere at 3:00. Or they might say, man, these things are kind of killing me lately. Like, I don't know if I want to do like the overnight stuff or the commercial stuff anymore. So I hear what they're saying, but now I want to understand where it's coming from. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that in a management position, understanding what they're actually saying and then getting your technicians or your team to understand what you're saying, because they're doing the same thing too, right? They're receiving information, they're filtering it, and the rest is getting thrown out of the door, right? I'm trying to think of any recent examples. I mean, there's a lot. You mentioned one where a guy shows up late and he comes in all frowny faced, pissed off, and he's like, basically, don't talk to me, don't look at me, I'm pissed off. And I understand that he's like you said, he's just pissed off at himself, and he's trying to come back and kind of cover his own ass and make it less of a severe situation.
Yeah. Well, it's hard for management in a lot of situations because you are now the babysitter.
There we go.
And it's hard for a lot of people because I now have to go and reprimand a 40-year-old man. That's kind of tough. And why? It's different. You work at fast food, you're dealing with 17, 16-year-olds. They're used to getting, punished. They got parents, they get grounded. Okay, you can go yell at them. You can go, get them in order. But you're talking about a grown-ass adult. It's tough.
Yeah.
On the management side, it's tough. But it's how are you handling it? And that's a big thing is, recently you said, I got pissed, I got pissed.
Yeah, that's a good one. I didn't mean to cut you off, but that's a good example of me not handling it well and me not being emotionally fit and ready to handle that situation. When I know that this guy does typically show up late, but yes, for everyone who's listening, I did lose my cool last Friday. I lost my mind on a guy.
But that's the thing, and that's why we brought this episode up, right? It's fresh. It's stuff that people don't talk about. I've heard from, our distributor and things like that of different owners in the area and who they are and what type of person they are. And they say, they are pissed off. They scream, they yell, everything. I've interviewed their office staff to work here and they say the exact same thing. So I know it's legit. I know it's real. Because I'm sitting there saying, really, this guy, how does he have people working for him? He's just screaming at him all day. But there's ways to handle, these situations and things like that. We talked about it at the very beginning. So in January, and we're just barely out of January, but, or getting into February. We're recording this prior, so we're getting into February, but January we had episodes on it. Is, what systems are you creating to eliminate a lot of these emotions?
Yeah.
You get rid of someone, it's okay. It's the world. It's just going to happen. If you don't get rid of them, they're going to leave at some point, right? It's hard for management. It's hard for management as they start to get tied in with certain, technicians or office staff. They like them.
Yeah.
I get along really well, so I want them to stay here, but they also suck at what they do, so I can't fire them, right? Yeah. And it's no, you can and you should. There should be a lot there that you need to get rid of that person.
Yeah.
You can be friends with that person. They're a good friend. They're a terrible worker, and it's okay. And that's where people and the emotional side of it it's tough. I'll go back. I'll give an example with you. And you sent me that message about a guy who left, and you're like, hey, I hope it doesn't, wear down on you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Very kind of you.
Yeah.
And it would have. Doesn't anymore. I don't give a shit anymore.
I know you don't.
But I know now. Yeah, now. But when I look at some of those things, it's because I do want the best. I do get a lot of joy out of seeing people succeed. And it's awesome. I love it. But it also is to the point where I've learned, because of past experiences prior to even that person, I can't make that happen. I can't push them in that direction. I can't make it happen. I can't control it in any way. And so I don't care. It's self-induced in most cases.
Right.
You look 30 years older after you've been here for 6 months because of stress. That's on you. That's not on me. You're not controlling yourself in a good enough state. But management needs to understand that is you need to eliminate the emotions in a lot of situations. You need to eliminate what that is. Getting pissed off because the guy gets late. How do we just fix it?
Yeah.
There's no reason to get mad. There's no reason, just in a recent interview, or it's not an interview. What did we do with the guy? Office. God, what is it called?
Review. A review.
A review. God, freaking drawing blanks. Yeah. It's too early. No, but doing a review with them, it was, it got to the point where I'm like, dude, I don't want to fight. Like, I'm done arguing. I don't want to argue. Yeah. Like, it's not my end goal in life is to sit here and argue with everybody every single day, every second of the day. Like, what can we do to get this over with? I'm done. I don't want to fight you anymore. So it's either let's figure this out and this is what you can do to do it, or go do your own thing and let's move on. Right.
Yeah.
But that's what it came to. And that's what management needs to understand is, are you able to take the emotions out of it? A guy calls out sick. Guess what? You live in the US. They have the right to call it sick. Used to piss me off. It did. I mean, it just made me so mad because I couldn't call out sick. And then I got guys all around me calling out sick. And those same guys that are calling out sick are saying, oh, you should be with your family more. You should stay at home. You should do this. And it's like, well, thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks. That would be really nice if you were more consistent too, because then I could do that.
I want that too. Yeah.
But I can't. But it's understanding. And now that's why I say where I was at the beginning of the episode to where I am now, that doesn't bother me. There's a solution. We have plenty of other guys. We can move stuff around. We can make it work. And it starts to get a little bit easier. But it's controlling those emotions and taking those emotions away from it. Someone's going to get injured. Someone's going to get in a car wreck. Someone's going to get, sick.
Yeah.
Something's going to happen. Someone's going to quit. Someone's going to get fired. It
happens.
It's the world that we're living in and we chose, and I chose. And so I can allow that to mess with me, or I can say, calm down. Let's figure out a solution. Let's make it work and let's fix it. But it's that emotional side to it is how it's tying in.
Yeah.
Was there anything you wanted to add with management dealing directly with the technicians and what the technicians should see, as just a regular route tech? I know we just did the Q&A. We kind of tore that guy apart. Sorry for the guy who emailed in. But there's something he's not seeing on the management level. And he's not controlling his emotions on that side of things. And he's allowing some stupid mistakes that he could fix, to do that. And that's kind of what drew this episode together, just so everyone knows, was that, as well as some personal experiences here. But what are they missing? What is office personnel, what is just a route technician missing that they need to understand from management?
Perspective.
I
think that's the easiest way to sum it up. Managers, because you're over a team, you are being watched and you are being, I don't want to say monitored, but your team is looking at you for answers and guidance.
Yeah.
Right? And as that person, if you're crumbling in high pressure situations, in situations that you agreed to take on as a manager, that doesn't create any kind of continuity or environment for growth or people to, be better tomorrow. I think that as a manager, it's important to be transparent and convey your point. But I also think it's important to filter that transparency in a way. We gave the example of me flying off the handle, not my best moment, but I did, because I was so angry. And in that situation, it's like the technician needs to know that what he did was not okay, but there was a much better way to handle it than saying how much he pissed me off because of what he did.
Yeah.
And with that, take mental notes and be mindful about how you're progressing and how you are handling the situations. If you're thinking back on some really tough conversations you've had with technicians or office staff, and you start noticing a pattern of you getting pissed off and the conversation ends and you don't talk to that person and it keeps happening, it's like, maybe you're the asshole. And that's okay.
Yep.
But it's not okay to point fingers everywhere else.
Yeah. I agree 100% on that.
Yeah.
And so for everyone out there listening, where you sit, wherever it may be, as managers, as just regular route techs or office staff, personnel, whatever it is, it's perspective. Mm-hmm. Put yourself in that person's position or understanding what they have to see and what they have to go through. Mm-hmm. You as a route tech, your job is to finish jobs on a daily basis in a timely manner, mm-hmm. at the best of your ability, and keeping the utmost respect on properties, and the manager is there to control that.
Yeah.
And to make sure that that is getting done on a consistent level over multiple dozens of guys. Mm-hmm. And the pressure's there because he has to make sure that it happens. Mm-hmm. Right. And so understanding that pressure behind it is, if you do fly off the hinges, right, you're not necessarily mad that he showed up late. You're mad that he showed up late. And because of showing up late, it caused a massive amount of more, it was more work on your end, which made it so you were going to be late. So then your trainings were going to be late. So then everyone was going to be held more. Mm-hmm. Right. It's not necessarily that he showed up late. If he showed up late and he had his own stuff to do, who cares? It didn't affect you directly, but since it affected you, mm-hmm. and so many other things, it pisses you off.
Of course.
Because it pisses me off too. Mm-hmm. Even when I'm showing up late, I feel bad for the person I'm holding up, mm-hmm. because I know that I'm eating into their time that they will never get back in their entire life.
Yeah.
And that dwells on me. I'm think about that because I'm like, damn. Mm-hmm. So now I tell everybody, because I don't want that feeling, and I hate having people feel that way. So I always tell everybody, if I say, hey, oh yeah, I'm coming to this party, they're like, okay, you're going to be here at 5. No, I didn't say I'm going to be there at 5. Whatever you're going to do it without me. Mm-hmm. When I show up, I'll pick up, mm-hmm. wherever I'm at. Do not wait.
Yeah.
Because that time is time you're not getting back. So do not wait for me. I'm not here going to hold you back. I'm living my life. You live your life. Do not wait for me.
That's a good point.
And that's for everybody out there, even in which you probably didn't know that directly about me, how I feel about those things. But I tell my family that. It's like, we're going to go eat, order food, mm-hmm. go eat. I don't care.
I picked up on that when we were traveling recently.
Oh, okay.
Because you and I go to the gym a lot when we're out on these like conventions or these these sales calls or whatever we're doing. Mm-hmm. And every time I'm like, we're talking about like going to the gym or going somewhere. You're like, go ahead and get started, or go ahead without me. Like, just little things I pick up. I'm like, oh, he doesn't care,
Oh yeah, no, I do not get offended. Yeah, you go to a restaurant, you start ordering food. I get there, you're eating. I may bug you about it a little bit, just to mess with you and have fun. But no, I do not care. I do not care. I am not one. Super Bowl, get it started if I'm late. Don't pause it. Don't try to catch up. I don't care.
Yeah.
Do not wait on one person. And I will not wait on one person.
Yeah.
Unless I decided to. And I'm willing and I'm okay with it because I have other stuff I can do. But going to it is management and perspective, is understanding who they are, understanding what they're going, and understanding that person, who is that person? What is their job? What is their title? What is their role? What are they looking at? What is their responsibilities? And then putting that in perspective. Because if this person would have put that in perspective, he would have understood, or would have said, hey, go do this. Let's find a solution. Let's make this a lot better, or I'm going to work faster. Or, hey, I know you're pissed off at me. Yell at me later. Let's get this shit done right now.
There we go.
And then you can have at it. Okay. But that's not going to help in the moment, right? Yeah. We can take 5-10 minutes. You can yell at me, or we can just get this stuff done in 5-10 minutes. And then you can yell at me as we're driving home. Call me.
Perfect. Yeah.
Like whatever it is, but it's understanding and putting that in perspective.
Yeah.
One last thing I did want to put that as, for management, because we'll come to a close. I know we've been going for quite a while, is a big role for management, and especially as it comes into emotions, is we want that person to be really good. We want that person to grow. We want them to be in that position, whatever it may be. A big thing that we have to understand as management is, and we've been talking about it really, really recent, so this is fresh, is can that person actually do that job? Is that person good in that position? And we have to pull our emotions out of it and look at the facts. And unfortunately, so many times you get emotions involved where the person is making decisions off of how they feel and not off of what should be done.
Yeah.
And because of that, they put people, that's why you get managers who are terrible managers, and they should not be managers, because somebody above them had that emotional feeling and saying, hey, they should be. They deserve it. They've been here longer. No. That's all garbage. Who is capable of doing it? Not how I feel. I've liked a lot of people who've come and gone, and I've wanted awesome things for them, and they're gone.
Yeah.
And so you learn really quickly. So you don't get to decide that. So it's who's best for that and in that area, and who's not. And understanding it's okay. You want to keep them on. But now what we need to do is we need to grow enough to keep them doing what they're doing and pull someone else in to do all the extra stuff that they can't do.
Yeah.
But it's taking the emotions out of it and making sure we're keeping ourselves in check as management, saying, hey, I like them, but they also are not doing the job. And I need to know that. And it's hard, it's going to hurt, and it's okay. But if you can have that conversation with those people, hey, this is what we need, and this is what's not getting done. Yeah. We got to get that fixed. And if we can't get that fixed, then the next step is obviously we have to separate, and it's for both parties, and it's for the best. That's where I think people have a really, really hard time, is understanding is when there is a separation, a lot of the time it has to be this terrible thing. And I hate you, you hate me. And we don't have to hate each other. Let's do it in a respectable way. And then you can go your way, we can go our way. And then everything's perfect. We can still be friends.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be horrible, but people have to make it that way.
Right.
Because they can't control their emotions in those circumstances. I can't leave a company because then that shows that I'm quitting. I'm a quitter. So I'm going to create a backstory of why they suck so I can leave. Why? They don't have to suck so you can leave. Because even if you leave, someone's going to come in and take that position. They may love it.
Yeah.
So who sucks? You don't have to suck and they don't have to suck. Yeah. Everything can be really good.
Right.
But it's understanding that, and management has to deal with that. So anybody listening, office, tech, understand what they're going through and understand what they have to see and understand their emotional side of it, of what they're doing with on a day-to-day basis and how they handle those things.
Yeah. No, I think that's really good. I'm actually really excited for some of the Q&A and some of the comments for this episode because it pertains to every level of the business. I mean, even outside of work, you know, the emotional side of these conversations. But like I said, please, if you do have any questions or you have any situations where this is fresh, you've had really positive, you know, experiences with emotions with the guys or your staff, or really negative ones that you've had to overcome, you know, I think it'd be a great pest guest episode, or it'd be great for a Q&A at the end of this month. But thank you again for listening to the DNA Pest Control Podcast.